Hi everybody, Maria Malec here, Taking Healthy Back. I have another great interview for you today. I have DePaul Foxworth here, and he's a serial entrepreneur. We met a couple of months ago at a Myron Golden event, and if you don't know Myron, please look him up. His event changed my life, and this guy here is pretty amazing for his age and what he's done. And I am really excited to hear about how health is directly related to his success. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here with you, and thank you for taking out the time to interview me and consider me somebody of value that you want to bring on your show. So thank you.
So
it's all good.
Okay, so my first question is, how does health affect your success? What does success mean to you, and how does health play a role in it?
Absolutely. Yeah, so success means a lot of things to me. I think overall I grew up in a family where my dad was an entrepreneur and my mother was a school teacher. And so my dad, he always works. He's a workaholic, right? And so I kind of got some of that. And then my mom, she's not so much a workaholic, but she values a lot of time with family, things like that. And so for me, my definition of success is not just how much money that you have and how much money that you make, but also, one, spending time with the people that you love, and taking that money and reinvesting it back into time with your family. So the reason I wanted to be an entrepreneur was because my dad, he worked a lot. But when I started meeting other entrepreneurs who had multiple businesses and were able to scale themselves out of it time-wise, and actually spend time with their family and work like they call it a 4-hour work week, that's what intrigued me to want to be in business. And in turn, I started realizing, hey, it's great because a lot of wealthy people, they chase money, and they leave their health behind. And so I started catching myself kind of going through that as I got financially free. Then I started getting my toys and things like that, right, that I've always wanted. That is what showed me that health is so important, especially when it comes to being an entrepreneur, as well as somebody who, like myself, I consider myself a high performer from a thinking perspective. And so even though I have this mind and I'm always looking at how can I improve financially, I have to also make sure that my mind is being protected by keeping a healthy body. And so success, to answer your question, what success means to me, especially when it's regarding your health, is not only having the money and the time to spend with the people you love, but also having the body and the ability to spend time with the people that you love versus being the guy who takes his kids on a hike and you're huffing and puffing up the mountain.
Right.
So for me, that's my definition of success, especially when it's regarding my health as well.
All right, that's awesome. That's how old are you?
I'm 29.
29.
Yes.
I didn't have that kind of mindset when I was 29, so that's really refreshing to see, because my whole mission here with Taking Healthy Back is reclaiming our body sovereignty. We were created to self-heal, and I believe mainstream medicine has taken that from us. And to hear that your mindset is directly related health and success, that's very encouraging for me to hear. So
Wow.
I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
Okay, so my second question is, what are your 3 to 5 non-negotiables to sustain your wellness?
So for me, I think the heaviest I have ever been when it comes to weight is 225 pounds, and I'm a 6 feet tall guy. So for me, my non-negotiables is never to cross over 225.
Okay.
And originally it was 220, but I ended up going to 225, hanging out at mom's house, right? But so the first non-negotiable is never be over 225. The second non-negotiable is, and this is a man thing, but when I look down, I better be able to see my junk. And so that's it. I don't want the pot belly where I can't like look down and see my junk. And so I heard that from an older guy, actually. He told me that.
Okay.
He said, man, you want to take care of your health at a young age. He said, because if you ever look down and you can't see your junk, he said, that's a problem.
Okay.
And so that's the second non-negotiable. And
I appreciate
I could be
your
wrong
honest-
here. Hey, it is what
Yeah.
it is. And then the third non-negotiable is I have to be able to run with my son and not be winded. And so there are times where, you know, I hit that and I realize that, holy crap, like he's outrunning me. And my goal is always wanted to be, I want my son to be like, Dad, I'm tired. Like can you relax?
Oh,
you know?
okay.
And so those are my three non-negotiables when it comes to my health. And obviously, or maybe not so obvious, whenever I'm kind of on the rim of those non-negotiables, I know it's time to start cutting back and basically, you know, start kind of cutting my calories and maybe choosing some better foods to eat and also exercising more, you know. But that's pretty much it. So I mainly want to have a health lifestyle that I can sustain as well, because I've done crash diets, stuff like that, and I've never seen it, you know, anything that I can continue with for a long term. And so for a while now, I mean, I'm 29, I'll be 30 in the next 5 months. Having those non-negotiables has also allowed me to set up a regimen and routine that can be consistent and that I can stick to hopefully for the rest of my life. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Are there any food or supplement non-negotiables?
So I actually don't take any supplements.
Okay.
The reason I don't take any supplements is partly because I don't like artificial things, and not saying supplements
I
aren't
don't like that.
right, because but I had a problem, not that I trust in the government food grading scale or anything, but you know, a lot of times people don't realize that certain supplements like BCAAs, I like to lift, so guys who take stuff like that for recovery, they don't have to pass that through Food and Drug Administration. And not that they're like so prestigious and if it goes through there it's healthy, but I also like to know, like, okay, well, what's going in my body. And so if it's not coming out of the ground or it's not walking around, I don't want it. And that's just how I look at it.
That's the way I feel too. I mean, I will take some supplements, but not, you know, some people are a slave to it. And they freak out if they don't take their supplements in a day. And that's also part of taking healthy back, is not being a slave to your health either.
Absolutely.
I mean, and I don't really believe that there's a healthy balance, because I think we're always in flux and in flow.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I really like your thinking on that.
Well, thank you. It's just so many times we get caught up in, like, I remember taking multivitamins was something that I always heard, especially growing up with my mom. If you take your vitamins, she has this big pill box that says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And every time I would take my vitamins, whether I ate or I didn't eat before taking them, I always felt terrible.
Oh, wow.
And so people would say, oh, it's just because you aren't taking them over a longer period of time. But I'm like, well, I haven't put, like, you know, vegetables in my mouth or even like meat in my mouth and felt like completely terrible after taking it.
Right.
And so I was like, so why would that be happening if a multivitamin is supposed to be helping me with my health? So that's why I choose not to take like even multivitamins or even like synthetic protein and things like that.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. And for me, I consider that a cocktail of chemicals, and our bodies can't work efficiently if it's just loaded down with chemicals.
I certainly agree, and you can feel it. You really can. And if you're listening to your body,
sure, and that's a good point. You have to listen to your body. I mean, even overeating a lot of natural foods can make you sick too. So
absolutely.
That's a good point, to listen to your body. Okay, DePaul. A lot of people think in terms of health and what are they eating. What are things that you consume other than food that contribute to your health?
Definitely the Bible. that's one thing. I noticed that whenever I consume the Bible and I'm reading it, sometimes I cut it on and listen to it, I always feel better about myself, and I also feel better about the decisions that I make throughout the day. And the other thing too is I always do my best to read good books and listen to good audiobooks, as well as watch like good stuff on TV. Because I remember whenever I was a kid, my brothers and I used to watch Power Rangers, and Power Rangers always had this huge scary monster, and I noticed I'd have bad dreams. And so from that point on, I remember we grew up a little bit and we started watching Chucky. And Chucky's a horror movie, right?
Yeah.
And so I would have nightmares then. And so from there on, my whole life, I would never watch horror movies. Even when I would date girls in college and they'd be like, hey, let's go watch a horror movie, I wouldn't do it because I just noticed how it affected me from a mental standpoint. Because I feel like if you aren't protecting what you're seeing and what you're hearing, which affects your brain, it also affects your overall health. Because not only do you have physical health, you got mental health as well. And a lot of times your mental health, I wouldn't say it's more important than your physical health, but it's up there. You know, it's very important because without your mental health, you can't make good food decisions for your physical health. So so those are the habits that I do. Is one, read my Bible, listen and read good audiobooks, and then watch good stuff, inspiring things on TV, stuff like that.
Okay, do you have a few book suggestions that people should consume?
Yeah, one I'm into right now is called Thou Shall Prosper. I can't remember who the guy who wrote it, but I think you should check it out. And then I like books about finances and wealth, and there's this one book that I've read and listened to probably over 100 times throughout my life, which every time I listen to it, I catch something new because I'm at a different phase in my financial life. And it's the same guy who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad. His name's Robert Kiyosaki. But his second book is called Cash Flow Quadrant. And so that's my other book that I'll listen to when I'm walking, you know, if I'm exercising, any of those things.
What's it called?
Cash Flow Quadrant.
Cash Flow Quadrant. Okay, never heard of it.
You should definitely check it out on Audible. So,
really?
Yeah, it's really good. It helps shape your thinking around wealth and how money works and things like that, and how your mindset is a huge contribution to how your money will work. And yeah, that's one of my favorite books of all time that I always go back and listen to as my life progresses financially. So,
nice. How can people get in touch with you? I know that you are teaching some courses on investing and other entrepreneurial kinds of things. And if anyone wants to reach out to you because they just resonate with your vibe, how can they get in contact with you?
So my best way is on Instagram, and it's DFox, F-O-X Money, DFox Money. So I talk about money, I talk about business funding, raising business capital, investing in other streams of income, using that capital. And you can also check me out on YouTube at DePaul Foxworth or DFox Money on YouTube, and Facebook as well. I'm DFox Money on Facebook, and on TikTok I am DFox Money on TikTok. So just look up DFox Money and you'll definitely find me.
Yeah, and he is a great guy, great energy, and I'm sure that you can gain a lot from him, and he can teach you more about being healthy in your finances, in your personal life. And it's really been a joy to talk to you today.
Hey, same here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
You guys keep following her, because I guarantee you she's going to have even greater people than myself coming on this show. So I can't wait to see where she is a few months from now.
All right. Thanks so much.
Yes, ma'am. No problem.
Appreciate it. Ma'am. He called me ma'am.